The home buying journey can be one heck of a ride. But it's my job to ensure my clients end up smiling at the closing table no matter what. So after the dust settles, I pay my buyers a visit to share their unique stories to inspire you to embark on your very own path to homeownership. I'm Amina Stevens, and this is Moving Mukbang. Daunte, how's it going?
Going good. Welcome to the crib.
You. Yes.
That you helped me get.
I have not been here forever.
It's been a minute, honestly.
Yes, well, show me around.
All right, let's get it. All right, so first, my garage is no longer a garage. I made it into a gym. Got some mirrors up here. Got my squat rack, got some weights, and I train my clients in here. This is where we put in the magic.
I love it. This is exactly what your vision was.
No, exactly. I bought a new refrigerator for the house and put this one out, my old one out there. So got a little refrigerator for my clients and the water and stuff.
Awesome. There are so many houses that we looked at that didn't have a garage.
I know.
So it's amazing that you're able to get this one and convert it to your gym.
I didn't think I was gonna be able to get a garage at all.
Period.
So all right, now we got my living room.
Okay. Now we talking.
Right.
You got the upgrade on the furniture.
So I had the hand-me-down furniture from my friend that was moving out. Now I upgraded. You know, it took me a minute. I was being impatient for a while. Now I realized it's just gonna come with time. So I was able to come up on all this furniture. Came up on free TV. So
yeah, it was free?
Free.
How many inches is this?
I think 55. My mom had like 2 of them when she was moving out, so she gave me 1 in there and then 1 for my roommates. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Next step, we're gonna hide the cords.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
No, it's levels.
We levels to it. Shit, my dining table, big dining table for all of my tenants when I rent out everything.
Yes.
And yeah. So
that's a huge upgrade from the first one.
Yes, really the first one was kind of boo-boo. So now we have this one. This room is a work in progress. I really didn't know what to make it at first, but it's gonna be like the office / vibe area. You can come do work. Got the bookcase, got my computer, got the plants. We're gonna add some more. Okay. And then we got my kitchen. It's a little.
You changed the kitchen.
It's a little different from last time. Painted it white.
Okay.
Added some handles to it. You know what I'm saying? Got a new refrigerator.
Yes.
I'm proud of this. I feel like
stainless steel.
Right. I feel like a dad. Like
wow.
I got a refrigerator.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a lawnmower.
Was it expensive?
It was pretty expensive, more than I thought refrigerators go. But I'm proud that I got it. I think it's a good investment in terms of having an investment property. So.
Yeah, it definitely gave your kitchen a facelift.
Yeah.
It's a lot more modern.
This is my boy Blue. Blue, say what's up, man. You come out.
I haven't met Blue.
Yeah, this is my boy Blue.
Hey, Blue.
He loves people. He loves the camera.
Is he gonna jump on me?
He possibly might jump on you.
He's like as big as me.
Yeah, he's cool though. He loves people.
Cool. So how's his yard working out for Blue?
He loves the yard. It's his little, it's his whole little house. Come on, man.
Oh, Blue doesn't like the rain, huh?
He don't really like the rain. But before it was like random block bricks over here. All of those bricks were just lined up kind of at a weird angle, leading to nothing. So I changed that, picked all of that up. Now grass / weeds is growing back. But next week I got somebody coming to like put down some real grass and not just weeds. But yeah, it's slowly coming together. That's my famous grill, Chef DTB, when I really on the grill.
I haven't been invited to the cookout yet, and I saw when you posted on your story that you had a really amazing cookout, and I wasn't invited, and I feel some type of way.
You know what? I got you.
Are we gonna make it right today?
Tomorrow. No, we'll do it another time.
Okay.
4th of July, if you're free. Saturday, I might grill. You know, stop by. I got a plate for you.
Okay, fair enough. I need my plate, but it looks so much better out here.
Yeah, let's get out the rain.
Yeah, let's get out the rain. And what's going on with the rest of the house?
So the rest of the house, I can't really show you all those rooms because I rented it out to tenants, so all of my roommates in there. I gotta respect their privacy, but yeah, I got 2 other bedrooms in there, and this one's rented out to my cousin, other friend of a friend.
Okay. How's the bathroom look? You can show me the bathroom.
Okay, I can show you the bathroom.
Let's see the bathroom. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the house that I remember.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite parts, and I've never even got to take a shower in it. Like,
you talk about tenants.
What?
You have tenants now?
Oh, I do have tenants. Tenants / roommates.
Okay.
So my whole plan with this house was for it to be an investment property. So I'm renting it out to 2 people. They pay my mortgage. I make a little extra on the side after all expenses. So
while you're living here too, right?
While I'm living here for free, which is a blessing, and I thank you so much for that.
You know, we're gonna talk a lot more about that. I'm really hungry. Let's just eat.
Let's eat, please.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Have some manners.
You know what?
Let's set the table.
I got you.
this table.
Man, I'm ready to eat. Yes.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Move-In Mukbang. My name is Amina Stevens, and I'm a local realtor here with eXp Realty in Tampa Bay. Today, what's on the menu is Mr. and Mrs. Crab. This is a local restaurant here in Tampa Bay that is now expanding all over Florida, and we're here with some lovely, hopefully delicious seafood broils and chicken wings. So we are going to grub on this food and talk a little bit about my client here, Daunte Benjamin's home buying journey. So without further ado, I'm really hungry. Let's dig in and talk a little bit about your story.
Please.
Let's take a bite first. So what we got going on here?
I gotta try the wings first. Like.
Oh, me too. Here's the thing. They low-key a little bit cold. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
You know.
I've never complained on eating wings. I'm not gonna lie. That's my favorite food. So.
Fair enough. That's a good favorite food to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to kind of start doing this series, and you're one of my first people, so I'm very thankful that you joined me today.
Sure.
But I wanted to take a non-traditional approach to like you inviting me to dinner since you haven't yet. I didn't get no barbecue invite.
I'm not balling like you. You definitely gonna get the barbecue invite, but I'm not balling like you.
Fair enough. So I had to bring the food to you, but we're gonna bring the mental and the educational nourishment to the audience.
We dropping gems.
We dropping gems. So let's start just with the beginning of your process, and I have some notes here just to kind of remind myself of really what happened in your journey, because it was a little interesting.
It was.
So what made you want to get into buying a home? Like, where did you start before you ever found me? Tell me a little bit about who you are.
Well, I'm Daunte, and so my journey started when basically 2018. I was going to USF. I was majoring in biomedical sciences, and I was just kind of trying to figure out how can I set myself up for success later. Mm-hmm. So I started learning about financial independence, ran into real estate and how that's one of the biggest wealth builders there is on the planet that invests in stocks, everything else. So I kind of started learning that. I started studying the game on YouTube University. I'm like, this seems like something I could do. Okay. I might not have enough money for it, but I'm gonna check it out. So I think that's when I hit you up in like 2019. And I was like, my name's Daunte. Like, I really want to get a house. I really kind of don't know everything I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm saving up my money, and it's something I know I want to do because I want to build wealth later. So I hit you up, and then I think we didn't really start moving until 2020. 2019, that was just a whole year of me like realizing like, dang, I don't have enough money yet. I'm just not ready. Right. So I hit you up later in 2020, like around like January is when we kind of started talking more serious. But from the first time we talked, like what I liked about you was you took me serious. A lot of the realtors, like, they was like, this 22-year-old boy, like, you're not trying to buy no house. Right. But I told you I wanted to, and then you followed up like every 3 months, like, what's good? What your process looking like? What's happening? So I really like that about you. And so that's kind of what we started with in like January 2020.
Okay, so it started with the vision of you wanting to be a homeowner because you saw it as a way to invest in real estate and build wealth, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. So how did you find me? How did you like go about choosing a realtor? Because that's a really big part of the process.
It is, and I didn't really realize how big of a process it was, like of finding a good realtor until I met you. But I think it started, honestly, I asked around, and then I just was on Instagram looking, and I'm like, dang, honestly, it was just your profile. I was like, her profile interesting. She's a black woman.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? If I want something done, a black woman definitely gonna get it done. So I was like, you know what? Hey, look, shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so after I saw your profile, I saw that, you had a lot of experience. You were selling homes. And then your stories, like you were always dropping game. And when I saw you start talking about like redlining and like how that kind of stopped us from building a generational wealth.
I really cannot crack this. I'm like over here thinking like, this is first of all.
You gotta use your hands. Like I learned, you just kind of gotta put your thumbs right here.
You know what you just did now, right? You took one of my.
I'm gonna share with you. You can get one, but you see that?
You're a pro. Here's the thing about me. This is a very ambitious undertaking. We are eating crab on camera. And this is how much I care about you, Daunte, because I know you like seafood. I know you like Mr. and Mrs. Crab.
I do.
And I brought it to you, right?
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
No doubt.
Check me out.
See? You see what I'm saying?
You're the teacher. Okay. So you saw me talking on Instagram about.
Yeah, I saw you dropping game. I'm like, okay. Not only does she like, she just sell homes and she trying to make a living, but she's actually educated about real estate and like she wants to help people. She's not just doing this solely for the purpose of making money. You want to actually help people. You had a background in education, so I'm like, okay, she really know the game. In your eye.
We got in my eye.
Yeah.
For the first time on camera. Look, y'all, I was trying to be cute. Okay?
Hey, you can't be cute eating crabs.
I was trying to be cute.
Got to be more
And we're
careful.
not even going to cut this. This is going to be the real.
No.
This is going to be real.
Keep this in there.
I mean, it's in my hair. Look, y'all, this is how ambitious I am. Because this is my worst nightmare. Is eating crab but it's really good.
It's good.
You know what I mean? And if you guys don't know why I chose mukbang, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Daunte.
It's all
I chose
good.
it because it's something that I find to be kind of therapeutic. You go on YouTube and people are talking about different topics. It did originate in Korea. And it's like an entertainment where people are talking and eating. And I thought it was a good way to kind of bring people into the conversation with us. So that's what we're doing here. And everybody who wants to make fun of me for getting that in my eye, look, all I need you to do is like, comment, subscribe.
Right.
Okay.
Make a meme of her. I want to see it.
Oh my gosh. And this is live. We're rolling. Okay. So I was dropping game and what happened though? Because you said that you weren't ready in the beginning when you were thinking about getting pre-approved. Yeah. What actually happened and what was our discussion like? Because I do remember thinking that, here's this young guy that wants to buy a home and it's totally possible. I do it every day.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking he does need some work and it was really you that was really ambitious and steadfast in making sure that you were doing all the steps that, I told you to do. So what are some of the things that when we talked initially that you had to go and do?
So the first thing you told me to do, I believe, is talk to a lender to get pre-approved.
Okay.
And that's when you sent me your lender's information.
Mm-hmm.
From there, I hit him up and we spoke on the side and like he kind of told me some of the things that I would need, credit score, how much money approximately I would need to save up, interest rates, how that works, kind of the process of buying a home from the lender's aspect. So he showed me that. And that gave me more direction because at first I'm like, I want to buy a home. I got some money, but like, what's the next step? Right. So you put me on game for the next steps, talk to a lender. And that's when I really saw like, okay, we getting closer to something like a house.
Fair enough. So a lot of times people, when you went to the lender, I remember that I gave you some guidance that, hey, it might not be right now. You might need to do some work. So I sent you there with that knowledge that, hey, we're going to have to do some work.
Yeah, that was 2019.
In 2019. And so you had to save some money.
Yeah.
How was your credit?
My credit at the time was good just because I was following the financial independent, that whole movement. So I believe my credit was like 750 around that time. So that was really the only thing that I really had that was going for me. The money wasn't there.
And I always tell people, I say, part of the home buying process, one of the first steps, like we know, is getting pre-approved so that you can figure out what your financial capability is.
Yeah.
And what you need to save, what your monthly payment is going to be, what purchase price, all the things. But I will say, pick a struggle. If you have very little money, you maybe need higher credit so you can qualify for some programs to help you. And if you have high credit, then maybe you can have lower money. And if you have low money, you maybe need to have, low credit, you maybe need to have a little bit of money saved up because it's going to be harder for you to get approved for assistance programs.
Yeah, don't get caught lacking in both categories, in all the categories.
That's a major tip right there. Right? Help me. Pick a struggle.
Right. I can't come to you with no money and bad credit. Then you got a lot of work to do.
A lot of work. So so what happened? So you talked to Daniel and were you discouraged? Did you get motivated after that? What happened?
So once I talked to Daniel, that was a while ago. My memory is not that good, but I remember him telling me approximately what would the monthly look like for the monthly mortgage. What can I afford? So once he showed me that, I started going on Zillow, matching. I'm like, okay, actually, that's a nice house, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It looks actually pretty nice. I didn't realize everything that went into calculating how much the monthly was. On Zillow, it doesn't show you everything. It does not. You put me on game about that once you showed me the calculator and everything. I was like, wow, you got to include the property taxes and the HOA, all of that stuff. So you put me on game for that. But it did get me excited because I'm like, okay, wait, $1,000 a month, or $1,200 a month. I think I could, I could find a house in that range. It's going to be hard, but I can find a house in that range. So. Okay. So fast forward, you finally get pre-approved. Yeah.
And we got you pre-approved for a special program. There's different programs and all options out there.
Right.
But we got you into a program where you had to put very little money down. You didn't have mortgage insurance, and you were gonna get some grant money.
A blessing.
So we're like, okay, we moving and shaking.
Right,
here,
we
okay?
good.
So do you remember what kind of the first step was when we started working together? Because you did really great. I'll be honest, because I remember I hadn't talked to you for a while, and you came back, you're like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I was like, don't forget about me.
You were, and I told you, I was like, look, you need to do what you got to do your thing.
Right.
And then, come back to me, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
So even before I even talk about what happens once you get pre-approved, where were you at in your life? You're 22 years old, going to buy a home, but like, where were you? Were you living at home? Like, what was your life situation like at the time?
So my life situation was kind of typical college student. I was in a fraternity. I was in my 2020. I was in my senior year, about to finish it up. I was looking for jobs at the time. Didn't have a full-time job. Didn't have a job at the time, I think. Pretty sure. I started my job in February. I just got a job in February. I was making like $12.75. Not much at all. That's the one thing that discouraged me. I was like, dang, like.
So how much were you making? You just told everybody how much you made and you bought a house. How much were you making?
$12.75. You don't gotta be making a lot. Like, you gotta get it with a good realtor that knows how to finesse, move her way, and like she said, you gotta make up where you slack. Like, get your credit up, man. What you doing? But yes. Okay. So what was I saying?
Right, you just really got into your zone.
No,
right
I did.
Your zone. So where were you at in your life?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was just graduating my senior year, making $12.75, and I was kind of like. My apartment lease ended July 31st. I was like, I really don't want to re-sign and find another apartment. Or the place I was living at, I was having a whole bunch of issues, like ant infestation. Like the maintenance people never fixed anything. Typical student housing. Like that is boo-boo. But so I was kind of struggling there, but just finishing up my job, looking for some direction. So the house was like the thing. Okay, at least I want to get this done. That'll help me. Kind of like, my goal was to live for free. Once I saw that on the YouTube, like, I could buy a house, I could house hack, rent out the extra rooms to somebody. Like, that was my goal. I didn't have much going. I didn't have that high paying job, but I did have a goal and I had some money. So that's kind of where I was at in my life.
Okay. And do you want to share about how much money you had saved? Or?
All right, so.
You don't have to now.
Yeah, no, I don't mind.
How real you want
to be? No, I'm
real.
I'm real.
Okay.
At the time, shoot. I had a few investments going. I had maybe about $1,000 to $2,000 in the stock market. I had somewhere around 1,500 in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin all the way. And then maybe I had like at the time like $2K in cash, maybe less than that, honestly. I've really started stacking up my bread once I started my job. I was just trying to save as much as possible. I paid off the rest of my rent in like I think April, and then from there I was just stacking up my bread. But when I hit you up, maybe like 2K in savings, 2K in investing, 1K in cryptocurrency.
So talking about 5,000.
About 5K in general. I didn't have much to work with. That was like my whole life savings, nothing else.
Okay, so you didn't have a lot, but we'll talk a little bit about how we're able to make that work. So let's get into the nitty gritty. So you come back to me, you apply again. You got a little bit of a raise. You graduated college, right? You're fresh out of graduating college. How long had it been?
Shoot, maybe like a few weeks. I hit you up right before I was about to graduate, but it was a few weeks after. I was like, let's get it. I'm ready. I had my job, got my little dollar raise, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, I'm ready. I was saving up like at least $500-$600 a month, just trying to save as much money as I can. At that time, I maybe had $4K in savings then. Right. Not too much.
Right. Awesome. So you hit me up, and I'll say this part. So you hit me up. We had a consultation. We talked about the process, and then we started the house hunt. Right. Yeah. So this is kind of where things get crazy. You never know what's gonna happen.
I gotta stop you there. The consultation, that was really informative. I'm not gonna lie.
Look, y'all better hold on. I know this is we're recording, and we're doing this whole thing authentic.
I'm just chopping it up.
We might have to stop the tape right here and say what?
So the consultation, I thought I learned a lot on YouTube. I'm one of the people, I'm pretty ambitious. I think I know a lot. So when I got there, I was like, okay, she gonna tell me things that I already know. But at the time, you told me so much that I didn't know. Yeah. You got me right. So I just do want to say that was really impactful. And that's just one of the benefits of having a good realtor. Like, some people won't take the extra step to really educate you. They just kind of they'll let you go on what you know instead of actually teaching you what's going to be best for your goals and not just putting their goals ahead of yours.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I really pride myself on. Obviously, I was a prior educator.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really fulfill me to get somebody a home if they feel like I drug them kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
But, I can make it happen no matter what.
Right.
You just show up, sign here, do this, do that. But how do I inspire you to go and empower your community and your friends and yourself unless I educate you about every step of the process so that you can, again, like I said, go and inspire others to do the same.
Right.
So
all I knew on YouTube was like I wanted the FHA loan. That's the loan I wanted. So when I came there, I was like FHA. Then you start putting me on game. He was like, we might be able to do conventional, get a loan here, get no interest. Get low interest, get no PMI. So that was a blessing. You put me on game. You could have just been like, all right, FHA. Here we go.
God. That is one of my pet peeves because honestly, a lot of people think, and we've talked about this, and that's one thing, a gem that we've kind of, most of my first time home buyers learned, and I know we've discussed this,
for sure,
is that a lot of people just think, I can go to any bank. I can go to my credit union. I can go to, my mom's bank or whatever. And they're gonna hook me up. And it's like, that's not really the case. The analogy that I give is that getting a home loan is like shopping for anything else. So you want to get some Nikes, there are going to be some stores that have Nikes, and there are going to be some stores that don't. So you can't go into Walmart looking for Nikes, right? At least not yet. And a lot of times, first-time buyers are walking into just any old bank looking for a first-time home buyer program or looking for a product that maybe the bank across the street has, or the mortgage broker, the lender has across the street. But you wouldn't know about it because you think that all of the banks and the lenders and the mortgage brokers, because there's different types of financing out there, financial institutions, they think they're all the same. Right. So you were able to learn that, hey, look, let me show you what I got over here.
Right, let me show you what I got.
I'm going to show you what I got over here. And the main difference between the FHA program and what you were going under contract for is that the rates were great, and you were able to have no mortgage insurance at all, and you only were required to put down 3%. Right. Even though there was a grant that we were getting for about $4,000. Mm-hmm. So that really offset some of the money that you had to bring to the closing table. So all around that program was better, right? Yeah,
all of that program was the reason I was able to afford my house.
Period.
PMI, I would have been stuck. I wouldn't have been able to afford any house that I was trying to get, especially not this one. So
right. That's actually a really great point because had you gone and got an FHA loan, you might have been approved for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 less than what you were approved for because the way the combination of the rate plus the no mortgage insurance on this program worked, it was able to give you that much more purchasing power. Yeah. So again, that's the power of making sure you're shopping for the right loan options and you're working with a realtor that's knowledgeable in the programs that can be of best benefit to you. Yeah. So I'm glad that you trusted me in that regard.
I did.
So we're on the home search. So we started the home search. Right after that, we started the home search. And let's just talk a little bit about one of the first homes that we put an offer on. Do you remember that house?
Yeah, so the first one we put an offer on, that was...
It's actually around the corner from my house.
I think that's the one. Was that the first one where it was a lot going on in terms of the plumbing? Or was that the one where it looked nice, we just didn't get our offer accepted? I can't remember.
The one that is coming to mind is the one that was down the street from my house. And there was a lot of issues with the house. Oh, okay. I remember when we pulled up, there was a ton of people outside. All right. So tell us a little bit about that house.
So that house, we pull up. It's a decent house. When we pulled up, there was maybe 4 cars already there, people walking around already there. Like at the time, the market was hot, so
it's still hot. It's hotter now.
Yeah, it's hotter now. But we thought that was it, but it got hotter now.
Right.
But
it's crazy. Like, aren't you glad you had the street?
I'm so glad.
Out the streets, like you wouldn't have been.
I don't miss it.
You wouldn't have been sitting here.
No, I would have been at somebody's apartment complex.
Right.
But yeah, so we pull up. We waited our turn to go inside since everybody was trying to tour that place, the only place on the market apparently. We tore it. I really liked it in terms of an investment property. It had I think it had like 5 bedrooms. It had 2 baths. The house was a little older.
It also had roaches.
The house had roaches. I was like, that's not a big deal. Like, we good. It's okay.
He needed some work. He looked past it because one thing about Daunte that was great is that he was very aware. Like, his budget wasn't that high. Right. So we had to like find a combination of like, how do you feel about the neighborhood? How do you feel about the quality of the property? So this property definitely needed some work. Yeah. It would have needed some more work than he probably wanted to put in. Mm-hmm. He was open-minded to it.
I was.
Because it did have his goal, and I think that's so important when you're going to go ahead and buy a home. It's like, what is your goal? Keep the end in mind. Your goal wasn't to like live in a mansion on the beach, right? It was to like, hey, let me find a property that I can afford, that I can get approved for, that I can rent out and make money off of every month. Right. And easily with 5 bedrooms, you could have done that. Right?
That was like 5 bedrooms. I was like, okay, cool. I can rent out that to 4 tenants and live in it. You know, I can make some money from there. But that house was older, and then once we put in the contract, I got real excited, and it was the inspection period.
We got it accepted.
Yeah, we got to accept it.
How'd you feel about that?
I was excited. I'm like, you know, at first I went from not even believing that I could afford a house to now I got a house under contract and now it's accepted. Right. Like, cool. Like, this is going to be my house. I was really excited. I beat my deadline of not having to move out my apartment July 31st. So I'm like, cool. We do the inspection period and the inspector finds all these problems, electrical problems, plumbing problems, the roof was bad, structural problems. And it was...
I forgot about this.
The house was like leaning.
No, don't even do me like that because I be letting y'all know, okay, I see this issue,
yeah.
But some of the structural stuff wasn't that obvious until he went around and was like, yo, you see this leaning pillar?
Right.
I tapped on this. You know, he was doing something. He was doing a thing.
No, he did a detailed search and found some things that we didn't see. Like, it was like, I guess the electrical wiring was like cloth wiring, so it was the wrong one, so they had to rewire the whole house. Like,
yeah, and I actually looked up the quote the other day. It was like $20,000 to rewire.
$20K. You know, I just told y'all I had like $3K, $4K in savings. Once I heard that, I'm like, in terms of investment property, I don't got the money for this. It's not going to be an investment. This is going to be what kills me right here. But then again, I'm like, there's no houses out there. Well, where am I going to go? So that was a struggle.
I'm done.
The streets was hot.
Look. Okay. So, yes, so we got all that information. It was definitely overwhelming.
It was a very overwhelming.
But I'm used to kind of handling that and like telling you. So do you remember what I said the plan was? Like, what did we try to do?
You gotta refresh my memory.
So basically, we tried to go back to the seller and negotiate and say, hey, can you fix this? Can you fix that? Can you give us a credit for this or credit for that?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't know if you remember, I told him, I said, because we not only had the general inspector go out and give some quotes, we got a roofer, we had an electrician. We were doing our due diligence, is what they call this period of going ahead and getting your inspections and making sure you're comfortable with the home.
It's like 10-day window or something like that.
So that at the time we were able to get that. Now that's the thing of the past. Like you can hardly get anything over like a week.
Oh damn.
So we're hustling. We're getting all this information,
and
I send it all to the listing agent who's supposed to send it to the seller. And he tells me, "Oh, there's no cloth wiring in the home. There's no cloth wiring in the home."
Of course they're gonna say that.
My clients bought it. There was no cloth wiring. I'm like, so did the cloth wiring just manifest?
Right. They put that before they left. Like,
right. Not only do I have a general inspector's report, I have pictures from the general inspector and an electrician that have pictures of the cloth wiring in the home. So it was like literally they just were completely not like, I don't even know. Usually I'm a little bit more successful with negotiations, but they just completely denied the existence.
It was like, no, ain't no cloth wiring there.
Right. I was like, okay, Daunte, I think we got it. And we weren't able to get insurance. So even if Daunte wanted to buy this home, the issue with some of the things that were there, they weren't insurable. So I let Daunte know, you know what, this is not, even if you could get insurance, this is a huge expense for you.
It's a liability.
And I think that we're going to have to, we're going to have to move on.
Yeah. It was tragic. I was like, wow, that was my house. I felt, I was a little hurt. I was a little unmotivated there. But one thing that I learned is you just gotta let things be. Like, everything happened for a reason, and people kept telling me, oh, it's gonna be okay, better things gonna come, but which it did, but at the time I didn't want to hear it. Right.
So then we're searching along for more homes, seeing a few more homes. How are you feeling as we were like, so you have this house, got it under contract, you're super excited, and then all of a sudden you hit rock bottom and we gotta start all over.
all over.
So you're a little bit discouraged. And as we're looking at the other houses, like, what was going through your mind? Like, because I want to see, like, in Daunte's head, I don't know what it's like. Whereas on my mind, I'm like, I just got to find my client another house.
Right.
How are you feeling?
That was in, like, June? That was beginning of June, I think. I was like, this is pressure right here. Like, I got to find a house. I moved out of my house July 31st, like, and like we didn't easily find a house, so I'm like,
yeah, we did.
There's a low chance I'm gonna find anything. She was very like ambitious and positive about it, but I was like, she was saying like, we'll find something else. I didn't believe her at the time. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, ain't nothing out here.
There's no other option though. Like,
and we had to go back to the streets, but I was like, I don't want to go.
we would always say that we gotta go back in the streets.
Back to the streets.
So we get back to the streets. We're looking at houses, and I don't remember how long it took us, but we did find another home.
We did.
It was a little bit outside of the area that we had initially been looking in.
Yes, it was.
And do you remember that home? It was renovated.
I do. I remember the one thing I remember about it, like most distinctively, is like pulling up. Maybe I think on the right hand side, right before you turn on the street to the house, was a graveyard, and that was I was like, that's interesting. We got to the house. No, that was a different house, actually.
Yeah.
No, I'm tripping. That was a different house. This house was actually, the neighborhood was decent.
It was up and coming.
It was up and coming. It was actually a nice house, though. The outside looked well done. You could tell they just renovated it. The inside was really nice. Had a nice kitchen.
I'll put a picture over here.
Yeah. Insert picture.
Insert picture. I don't know where it's going to be.
Right.
We'll
somewhere in
it.
here.
If you're listening to this on the podcast, sorry you had to find out like this.
You're going to see the house. This one didn't have a graveyard. My bad.
Okay.
We had a lot of houses. So this one didn't have a garage. It had a pretty nice backyard. The backyard needed some work, but the inside looked nice. I think it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house.
Yeah, it was small, but what I liked about that home is that we just went from this home that needed all this work,
right,
and all these issues, to this home that's renovated,
ready to
beautiful, go. Up and coming neighborhood, but it was gonna work.
Right.
I actually have a video of you outside playing basketball with the kids.
Oh yeah, I remember. I met the neighbors.
Well.
Got to
put that there.
I don't got hoop dreams. I put them down. I play football. If y'all see the video of me missing, just forget that.
Well, okay. So we put an offer on that home, and what happened?
We put her offer in that home. I was super excited. I'm like, we actually found something. We left the streets and we came back with something else, and then we didn't get that. That offer didn't get accepted. So I'm like, dang, man, my house journey was a little bit rougher than I thought. I thought all you needed was some money, a realtor, and you good. But we had 2 struggles where I didn't get a house. One, couldn't afford it. It wasn't worth. It was a liability, and the other one just didn't get accepted. So 2 houses, 2 offers denied, and then I had my little god brother. He got into a little incident, and he was shot and killed. So I was like super unmotivated at the time. Like, dang, like nothing is going right.
I don't think you told me initially.
Yeah, I didn't tell you. It was just a lot going on. Like I had that happen.
You actually started pulling away a little bit. Like,
yeah, I was discouraged, bro. I'm like, dang, 2 houses gone. My little god brother is gone. And the crazy thing is, once I went to college, we kind of distanced ourselves. I didn't talk to him as much, but he looked up to me. So I feel like I should have been more into his life. But that's a whole nother story. But all of that.
So you're feeling some guilt.
Feeling some guilt. Not getting my houses accepted.
You know what? I remember that little shift, because I felt like, I could tell you were like pulling away, getting discouraged.
Right.
Weren't responding as quick and stuff like that. All right. So I remember. So this is the 3rd house, and spoiler alert, it's gonna be the 3rd and final house.
Right.
Okay. That we put an offer on. So we go ahead and put an offer on. Well, no. Let me back up. We finally found this house. I saw this house online. It was not that far from my house. So I pull over at like 11 o'clock at night. And I text you, and I know you were in your funk. It seemed like things were off.
Yeah.
And I text you, I'm like, Daunte, guess where I'm at? Like, I found this house, and it's the one. It's the one.
You did. You kept saying, it's the one, it's the one. That's how you know she a good realtor. Like, who pulling up at a house at 11 p.m.? Nobody.
I literally just jumped up and looked at this property that was on the market. I mean, just paused on the market. I have this whole plan about how we're going to be the first offer, first showing, all of that tomorrow morning, because it's on Supra. It's on an electronic lock.
There's literally nobody.
I couldn't sleep. I was like, hold on, I have to make sure. I have to drive by.
I couldn't sleep. I was having nightmares. I was like, dang, there go my houses. There go my chance to like build wealth, all of that stuff. I was discouraged.
Right, so you pull up.
Pull up to the house at 11 p.m.
Right.
We look at it. When I'm pulling up, the neighborhood had night lights and everything, so I could kind of see the neighborhood. It was really nice.
Right.
It was a way bigger upgrade than where we was coming from. The other houses, the neighborhoods was a little lower. They were up and coming areas. So this one, first impression, I'm like, okay, I like this. Then I pull up, the house got a garage. I'm like, okay, this. I really was looking for a garage. I really want to put my car in it.
Right.
That didn't even turn out at this house. I wound up.
You do have a really nice car.
Yeah, I wanted to put my car in it, but that didn't even work out. I got a gym now, but my car don't fit. But anyways, yeah, I see it. It got a garage. It's got really nice bathrooms. It's got big living area.
But you didn't know that yet. We just saw the pictures.
We was peeking through the window. We didn't even see all of that.
In the backyard, and we're really getting excited about it.
No, we was.
So we pull up the next day. I said, Daunte, we need to come here tomorrow morning,
Right.
first thing,
Yeah.
when the lockbox opens, and get in this house.
We had to be the first ones.
So we get in the house early in the morning. We look at the house, and do you remember how you felt when you first came in?
I was shook because we just came from seeing like some pretty lower end houses, and then I got 2 of them denied, and now I'm in like this house it just seemed perfect. It seemed like it got everything I want. Like the house was like, it was staged well. Like it had a pretty decent stage, and you could tell it was staged by someone that didn't have too much creativity.
Well, actually, it was an Airbnb.
Oh yeah,
and
it was an
that's why
Airbnb.
It looked like that. And
I remember we had put in it had a code that you could type in. I was like, dang, that's gonna be perfect for my rental property. Like, I gotta get this house. Like, first impressions, that's
literally the theme of that whole song.
Yeah,
we gotta get this house.
We got it. Like this from me pulling into the driveway to me seeing the keypad, all of that stuff.
Really fire in my lungs.
Right.
I thought I got mild, Mr. and Mrs. Crab. No.
Everybody's choking right now.
Flavor.
No, they're not.
Their flavor. So the whole thing there is we gotta get this house. I remember. I think I have a video of that, and I'll try to insert it.
Yeah, put that in there.
We definitely have something.
Stop looking at refrigerators and sign off.
I remember, like, in my mind, like, as a realtor, so, like, there's always, like, what we tell the clients, what we're thinking in our head. And in the back of my mind, I was like, if I don't get him this house.
I was wondering, like, what goes on in your mind?
In my mind, I have to keep it cool. But I'm like, if I don't get him this house, like, I don't think I'm going to hear the end of it. Because this house, there's no other, this is the house.
Yeah.
There's no other house that's going to compare to this house, in his budget, in this neighborhood. I was like, so every house that we would see subsequently, you would compare to this one.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how I'm be able to do it.
Right, no, you wouldn't have better did it. Like, I would have seen a house with no garage. I'm like, no, this ain't it. We can't do it.
Right. So I called the agent and I started, smoozing her.
Yeah.
We ended up taking some pictures outside. I sent you sent me some pictures of you
graduation
pictures, and we came up with a plan and on how we were gonna put in this offer and kind of sell the seller on why Daunte is the right buyer.
You really had to. We had marketing down pat. We was like, I gotta be the right one.
That's it. This is the right house, and we have to not only convince the listing agent, but we have to somehow find a way to convey to the seller that this is the buyer.
Right.
Okay.
I'm Daunte. DTB is the buyer. Right. You need me.
So we did end up putting in an offer letter, and I know these things in the realtor community. There's more and more guidance coming out about how we can or cannot put these letters in, but at the time, we did go ahead and do it, and there were multiple offers. So I want to say, like, that night or the next night, I was told that, hey, the seller has multiple offers, and yours isn't the highest.
Right.
But the lady could not put her finger on. She was like, but she just somehow wants to possibly go with your buyer.
Look at God.
And in my mind, I'm like, that's that letter.
Right.
That's
that letter did it.
Right. But don't tell the audience yet. I don't know if you remember what happened at closing. The surprise that we had at closing.
Oh, yeah.
And why we made me feel like, okay, things line up.
Right. The universe.
With the universe, God, whatever you believe in lined up. But I remember she kept saying, the listing agent kept saying, I'm trying to tell her, it sounded to me, because at the end of the day, it's the seller's decision.
Right.
But it sounded to me like she was, like, shocked and looking at the offers that she had.
Right.
Why the lady was insisting or leaning towards you.
Right.
Lo and behold, we get the offer accepted. I don't even remember how I told you. Do you remember? Did I call you? Did I text you? What happened?
I think you kind of faked like we didn't get the offer accepted. Yeah, like, come on, I already got 2 houses declined. Hold on, the spice is getting too big. I already had 2
You know what that reminds me of? And the smoke got me. I got bronchitis.
I got bronchitis.
Bronchitis.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right, my bad. But what was you talking about?
Right. So how did I tell you? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, so you faked like I wasn't getting the offer. You kind of had like little periods after, like, I got something to tell you. I'm like, man, this strike number 3. I'm done. Back to apartment living.
Right, he wasn't even trying to go back to the streets.
Right, and then you was like, we got it. I ain't believe her. I had to call her and make sure she was telling the truth, because I was like, man, this house too perfect. It really ain't no way. Multiple offers. I'm the youngest one. Barely got any money. Like, couldn't be me.
Right. You were in shock.
I was in shock. I was so happy. I was like, there's no way I got the perfect house after missing so many houses, thinking all of those was the right one. But this one was really it. This one was it.
And that's why I like to say, at the end, it's going to work out. Somehow, either you're not going to get a house or you're going to get a house that you love, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully. So we got the house, and we're excited. We're thinking, okay, this is gonna be lit.
We good now. That's it. That's all the struggle.
We out here in these streets, we hustling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We coming at 11 o'clock at night and looking in windows.
Right.
Dang, police gonna call somebody gonna call
Right.
us like,
There's 2 black people outside.
they facing the house and stuff.
Right.
And we get the offer accepted. And I want to say that what happened when we were under contract threw me for a loop, and was one of the most, not stressful, apprehensive. It was like I didn't know how it was gonna go. Usually I'm like, okay, we're gonna get this house.
Right.
I do a lot of due diligence with my lender and make sure that I know you're solid. And I swear, thing after thing was happening where I was like, I don't really know if we're gonna get the house.
Right. I was like, we got the house under contract,
Right,
and we
right.
still might not even get the house. Like that's my luck. That's
Right.
it.
So I'm gonna call these some roadblocks. So we're gonna talk. So once you're under contract, guys, what this means if you're a first-time home buyer and you're listening is that you have gotten your offer accepted. The seller is going to say, yes, I will sell you this house.
Right.
But then in order to get to the closing table, you have to pass inspections. You have to pass underwriting. You have to, make sure you have the money. There's a lot of things you have to do in order to finally get to the closing table. So what ended up happening in Daunte's story were a lot of things that we had to really navigate to make sure that you were going to be able to get the house.
Yeah.
So I'll start with the good thing. We go under contract and we immediately do our inspection.
Right.
And honestly, there wasn't anything wrong with the house.
The house was perfect. I'm telling you.
And I knew that looking forward, because they kept it up because it was Airbnb, and like most of the systems and everything were decent age.
Right.
So we were really like, the inspection, it was one of the cleanest inspections
Right.
I've ever had.
Because the other one was just a full list, like 5-10 pages long of just problems. This
Yeah.
one was pretty short. I think the worst thing was like the roof was getting old, but it still had like 3 to 5 years. So I'm like, I'm cool with that.
And it was a price point where like, we can take that because the rest of the house,
Right.
Doesn't have any issues.
Right. We good. That's the only one.
Right. So we smooth sailed through that. Daunte did need a few $1,000 more. And did you end up getting a gift?
Yeah, my dad, I took a loan out from my dad for some money.
No, you didn't take a loan. Your dad gave you some money.
Not a loan. My dad gifted me some money and that I don't have to pay back. So so that's
Okay.
what he came through. Like, and that's the cool part, like about generational wealth. Like I think a lot of people, it's frowned upon in our community to like get things gifted, but that's kind of the purpose of having like parents and having people that come before you to be able to pass down some wealth. Like my dad didn't buy me the house. He gave me a few $1,000s, $2,000 really to, afford the house so I could start setting up my wealth building. So
Right. So he needed a few $1,000s, and we weren't 100% sure he was going to be able to get a gift.
Right.
But we weren't able to write the contract asking for more money because the way the market was, we were like, we're just going to have to figure it out. So that was one of the things about strategizing. Like,
Right.
we did a lot of strategy.
I'm about to say we didn't have to pay that much for down payment, so what we wound up doing is putting more towards closing costs. Mm-hmm. So that was part of the strategy because she had a lot of offers, and like it's probably some offers they were asking the seller to pay for closing costs. So maybe that was one of the things that, okay, this person I like him already because he want to pay some of the closing costs that I wouldn't have to pay no more. So.
Right. And closing costs are the buyer's responsibility.
Right.
But you can ask the seller to help you with some of these extra fees that you have to pay in order to get to the closing table. But I do specifically remember the agent telling me she has several offers that are more than you.
Right.
They net her more than what yours is.
Right.
But the reason why I brought up the money is because we get to the inspections, not a big issue. But I still tried to ask, because we needed some more money.
Yeah.
I tried to ask for some closing costs. And the listing agent, I just was like, the roof is getting older.
Right.
And she literally slapped me down. She was like,
No.
in my 35 years in the business, I've never had somebody come
that.
back and ask for closing costs after the inspection. And I'm like, that's very common.
Right.
So that was a little bit odd. And after that, I was not really on her good side because she was not really having it. She was thinking that you got this offer accepted. I have no idea why. The seller decided to pick you.
Right, you weren't the highest one.
Right, and then you come back with a mess.
Right, and now you asking us to give you money? Like, what's going on?
Right. So that didn't pine well, but I had to try because I was like, what can we lose? We the seller is not able to cancel because we asked. So we asked, they said no, so I'm like, okay, we need to go ahead and look for other means to get the money. And your father was able to get it. But one of the first hiccups that I remember was that there actually was the program that you were in, the one that we talked about in the beginning, that was giving you the grants and the no mortgages and all of that. They changed the guidelines of this program. So I had to call Daunte, and actually, literally between the first house that we were under contract on and the second one, there was only a week or two.
It wasn't long. It wasn't long at all.
And in between that time period, the program had changed where you could only buy in certain areas. And Daunte, this is why we love the house, because it was a little bit outside of some of these areas
Right.
that we were looking into. We find the house, and we get under contract, and the loan officer calls me and says, Amina, this is not going to work. I had 2 deals actually at the time, and he's like, this deal's not going to work. It's not in what's called a moderate area. It's in a middle area. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way I got this perfect house. There's no inspection issues.
Right.
And you're calling me and telling me that they
guidelines.
changed the guidelines of the program. So I called Daunte. Do you remember like how I was always coming to you? Like, what was the energy that I was giving you? Like,
You always kept me updated, and it was always positive. But like this time, we was like, dang, like it was this house was just always something. But once again, she was still being positive, but you could tell it was like now what? Like we gotta change the guidelines, or we gotta talk to somebody. But then once again, she was able to solve the problem. What did you do?
right. So we was on thin ice.
We was on
I'm thinking
thin
like,
ice.
This house is no longer eligible for this program.
I couldn't afford it technically after that.
And you wouldn't be able to afford it outside of the program.
Right.
So I'm like, what am I gonna do? So this is another benefit of working with a really good loan officer. He really knows the guidelines, and he knows who to ask and how to ask. So I remember we just pled our case.
Yeah.
He went to the underwriters. He went to the program director. We're sending emails. My loan officer was going to bat saying, because it wasn't like it was you were a new buyer and then you wanted this house and it didn't work. It was like we were already under contract. We've been pre-approved for a while.
Right.
We had multiple offers that we've been putting in. We had one accepted.
Right.
And now we finally got another one. So that was the whole initiative that we took and the whole argument that we made.
Right.
And, I want to say after a few days we found out that, they went ahead and accepted you and gave you an exception. So a lot of times, guys, when you're trying to buy a home and there's issues with your financing and there's guidelines that are changing or things that are happening where they don't want to accept this or that, don't just take that for an answer. Really make sure you're working with a realtor and a loan officer that know when to push and how to ask for exceptions when due. You can't, a lot of people would have just said, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm like, ain't no way heck the house that I came to at 11 o'clock at night and then you fell in love with and then I got your offer accepted out of it.
Right.
There ain't no way I'm going down like that. So I'm like, okay, we get past that. We get past that. And then the next hiccup was really, again, related to your financing. Do you remember what the bigger issue was after we got past that hurdle?
So I believe that was a problem with the lending department when they were doing the underwriting. It's like, well, he's not guaranteed 40 hours, even though I had previous checks where I was working 40 hours. So we had to fill out a verification sheet for my supervisor. But the only thing is my supervisor conveniently was taking a vacation that time. So we had to I had to hit her up and basically kind of harass her until like, I really need you to just fill out this form, please. Like, I understand you're on vacation and you don't want to hear nothing about work, but I'm trying to buy a house. I need your help right now.
So he was walking a thin line because he was told that once he graduated college, he was going to be able to be a full-time employee, and there was just some transition things happening.
Right.
And they really needed him to be a full-time employee working 40 hours per week, and the supervisor was the only one that was able to confirm this.
Right.
The other issue, though, became that she was out of the country and she wasn't really responding.
Right.
But the bigger issue was that what was the impact of, even if we got the letter or the verification form, do you remember what else happened in your life? You said your god brother got shot, and that was one of the things that got you upset, and you went to a funeral for that, right?
Right. So around this time, 2 houses declined. Then they told I finally got an offer accepted. Then they told me the guidelines changed, and we finally got that figured out. And then, so I'm in a fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Shout out to the good bros.
Okay, we hear you.
You know what I'm saying? But so I'm in a fraternity, and one of my fraternity brothers gets into a car accident around this time. And it's not just some, fender bender. It's a 7-car pileup with a semi truck, and he's riding with his girlfriend at the time, and it's critical condition. We go to the hospital. We trying to figure out what's going on. We didn't even know what hospital he was at. They had it under John Doe. Long story short, his girlfriend passes away, rest in peace, and he was in critical condition. I'm talking about he was in a coma for a while. He was sedated. He had to get 3 surgeries. So, seeing your brother go through something like that and losing someone they love, all of that, it was just a lot going on. Within the 30-day span, my god brother passed away. I had 2 houses decline. Then my fraternity brother gets into a fatal car accident. Don't even know if he's gonna be able to walk again. So it was just a lot. It was just a lot of life impacting me, and just the the problems of trying to buy a house during the pandemic. And
But how did that impact your journey, though? Do you remember what that did to your? Yeah. Well, how did that situation impact your ability to get financing on this home?
you gotta refresh my memory.
Let me refresh you because this was the huge issue.
There was so much going on, bro.
You were taking off work.
Oh yeah.
To go to these, unfortunately, these funerals or go to the hospital. And what did that do to your paycheck?
So basically, I didn't go to work because I went to go see my fraternity brother in the hospital. I'm not about to go to work when my fraternity brother could potentially be dying right now. So I go, and I missed like 3 hours of work. Instead of 40 hours, I had 37 hours on my paycheck. And they were like, oh yeah, he's not full time. Yeah. How are we gonna finance him if he's not full time? He's not working 40 hours. So,
and they were basing your ability to buy this home out of you making a certain amount at 40 hours per week. So 3 hours.
3 hours.
Almost cost us this house.
The whole house.
So what ended up happening, just to put into perspective, is that so Daunte was obviously handling life, was missing work, and he missed hours on his paycheck, and it made the lenders not be able to calculate his income in a way that would make him be able to afford this house.
Because I remember they was like, we could just go based off the paycheck that's coming. And
I'm like, that was what I was about to say. So that's okay. Well, then if this one's not going to be the one, you have another paycheck coming before you close. Yeah. Let's use that one. And that one was down because he was it wasn't just him going to the hospital. Now it was like, oh, I'm going to the funeral.
Right.
Or I went to the funeral, whatever. So every time we try to say, okay, well, if you go a little bit longer, there literally was not a way for us to close on this house and show that he had been working 40 hours per week.
Right. There's no way.
Right. So we are stressing out because now we need to get an exception again. And we need to tell another letter of explanation. and we literally worked together to compile like all the data, the news article. Like we didn't want any doubt to be that these things happen.
Right.
And this is why you're not working 40 hours per week, not because your hours vary.
Right.
So we got all the data, all the documentation. I mean, there were like a million things that we had to prove.
I high-key forgot about that. Like it was just so much going on.
That was the hardest part. Because we had to literally. That was why I said I didn't know if we were gonna get the house because every single time we would send something in, it would be like another thing, and maybe they could accept this and they don't accept that. So we were literally going through underwriting and clearing these conditions, and literally the loan officer told me, he said, I don't know what they're gonna say.
Yeah. I felt bad because I'm like, dang, I'm giving Amina a hard time. I'm giving the lender a hard time.
We were up late at night. We were talking to you on the phone like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Like literally.
I'm sending emails with like 18 attachments.
Yeah. It was a lot. I'm like, how you forget me? That was post-traumatic stress.
No, it was.
About the biggest thing.
My mind had to block it out. Sometimes I go through my email and I see them. I literally start getting stressed.
Really?
I swear.
No way. No, that was really stressful, to be honest. I've never had to send in that much documentation and it be that. And then again, where was your supervisor?
My supervisor, I don't know. She was out the country somewhere. So, like, she didn't have good connections. She really wasn't trying to talk to me at all. It's not like we weren't best friends. So, I'm hitting her up, asking her for a favor with nothing in return while she on vacation. So, she wasn't responding to some of my texts. So, I had to call her, keep calling her.
We were calling all different departments at work.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I was really pushing him, though. Because there were times, like, he was going through a lot. And that's the thing. Is like, I really want to say, like, I know we talked about this and we celebrated when you got the house. But, like, you were going through so much emotionally.
Lot.
And, like, this was one of the most emotionally taxing deals of my career because of how, like, how much those few hours messed up the whole thing. And I didn't see a way around it.
It was like a week or two before like we were supposed to close on the house.
And your money just was not, your money was funny.
Nothing was adding up.
Literally, it was not adding up.
At all.
So I'm like stressed over this because I'm like, you're gonna lose again. This is not just any house. This ain't the first house that has roaches and it has a roof issue.
20K of problems.
Right, 20K of problems. This ain't the second house that you might hear a little boom, 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 bang, bang, bang in the background.
Right.
This is the house that
Temple Terrace.
In Temple Terrace, near USF. Beautiful home. It's newer. It's like
with the garage.
With the garage. In a good or in a attractive area for what you're looking for.
For sure.
And with a nice backyard, and we got it accepted. I mean, this is the house.
This is the house.
And here we are, like on thin ice.
Multiple problems.
On thin ice.
Under contract.
On thin ice. So the whole time I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna go. So finally. And then, so I felt bad because I was pushing you. I was like, Daunte, just go to work.
Right.
And like, go in early. Like, I'm going early and talk to this person. I don't care what they say. Pick someone else. Call them. Put me on the phone.
Right.
Let's do it 3-way. I'm like pushing him, like, whatever I'm trying to do.
Right.
We need somebody to sign
Where's
this
your
form.
assistant manager?
Like who, you know, that's not who their department. I don't care.
Right.
You know, so I'm literally like, just telling you whatever we can do, and we need it now. Everything was like, we need it tomorrow.
It was like, we need it right now.
Like, okay, so what ends up happening is that we ended up needing an extension because we weren't going to be able to close in time.
Right.
And I go to the seller listing agent, and mind you, she don't like me since the inspection. And here's the thing. This is the thing about having a good realtor. Do you think I went to that listing agent and was like, you know what? My client had blah, 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 blah. We on thin ice. We might not get the house. Right. Can you please give us an exception?
Nah.
I don't know what I said was the issue, but I just made it seem like we just need a few more days. I don't know what I said.
I remember you said, you played it cool. Like, I liked that.
I'm like, I don't know what I did, but I lined up where it was like, because I couldn't give her any kind of suggestion that we were not going to be able to do
we couldn't afford the house.
Yeah, we weren't going to be able to do this because we needed an extension. She don't got to extend. Right. So I'm like, and mind you, the lady don't like me, so I'm calling her. I forgot what I said, but I ended up, she had an attitude. She was like, she just was like not wanting to extend it, but it's her seller's decision. Right,
I get it though. Multiple offers, higher offers.
So here you come with this message. I think what ended up happening was that, there's a certain amount of time that you need as a buyer to look at all your documents. It has to be like 3 days before closing that you can look at all your documents. Yeah. And we were running up close on that deadline of like the documents aren't out yet, but we have everything else, and we need those 3 days. And by the time the 3 days hit, it was like it just made sense to give us like a week. Yeah. So we ended up extending like a week. And we got it. We ended up at the last minute getting approval. Like the underwriters, we got the document that you needed from the manager. Yep. We got all the documentation. I mean, they literally. I don't know if you know this. They said the underwriters were like, everybody was rooting for you. For real? They said that everybody, because there's processes and stuff that got to look at these things and send them in. And they were like, everybody wanted you to get that house. It's because of your letter. They felt it. They felt the emotional attachment. Yeah, that's because of our letter. That we worked together to make sure it was looking good. Because of our letter. But everybody wanted you to get that house. For sure. Everybody. I wanted me to get that house. I did too, but everybody, they were saying like, the processors were like, if he doesn't get this house, like the whole department is like not. Like they're like, this man deserves a house. He's young. He was in school. He's in college. Right. He didn't work his behind off. He didn't scrape his little pennies together. Right. No, all my little pennies. He didn't find him a little house. His friends, people dying left and right. Right. Hook a brother up, please. Right. So it was, so that was like the part of me that was like, there's no way. Like, that's the faith part of it, right? There's no way we got this far to get this far. No, for real. To get back in the street. We got it. So last minute, we end up, getting the house, getting the grant, getting the approval and all that. And we go to closing. And I remember I pulled up a little bit after you. And when I walk in, you had a big smile on your face. Why did you have that smile on your face? So, I mean, I just signed for my house, but when I saw the seller and I saw that she was an old black woman, I'm like, wow, like I can kind of just peep, like you really showed love to me just then, like you really helped me get my dream home and start building my wealth. So I was grateful. It all came into perspective when we saw her. I'm like, she knew what was going on. Right. She knew what was going on, and the listing agent, she just kept saying, I just don't know. Right. Why? For some reason. Right. Nothing's adding up. It's not. Y'all don't have. And then we see her at the closing table. I'm like, oh, it add up. I had to go to her and just say, like, I was so grateful for her. Most of the time, we don't run into sellers. They sign on their own. Yeah. You sign on your own, but just the timing lined up where they can see each other. Yeah. She was just finishing up. I remember that. Salute. So. Wow. So you got the house. Super grateful. That really shows you like the impact a good realtor can make, because let's be real, if I just would have had one that was just trying to make some money, they would have been gave up on me. Right. That's why I'm super grateful that you didn't give up on me. You continue to have positive energy and say like, even though everything was happening wrong, you was like, we still gonna get it. We still gonna be okay. And I really love that about you. Like, I appreciate that. And honestly, I was, shameless plug, but I was in the ring with you. I wasn't just like, some agents are like, I'm gonna handle the house side. Right. And you and the lender are gonna handle the lending side. And that's gonna be that. No. I'm like, we in this together. We was on 3-way with the lender. We was on 3-way, we was calling. I'm like, do you need me to go up there? Right. I was in the ring with you. What they say you need? Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We was going through the mud together. It was like we was up late at night talking, early in the morning talking. It was like, and I was always saying, I like to keep accurate expectations. Like, we can't guarantee this is gonna happen. Yeah. But I'm gonna do everything. Right. They gonna have to drag me out this house. Yeah, and you had multiple clients at the time, so that really shows like the love and like the grit that you have to like each individual person that you have, even though you might have multiple, you feel like you're my only client. Yeah, I felt like I only want. Anytime I text you, you respond back immediately. So it's cool. Like you really you put a lot of love into your work, and it's not from a place of like I'm just trying to get money. You genuinely want to help people. So I'm grateful for that, for real. Oh, that was so sweet. No, and I genuinely think that I need somebody who's gonna get in the ring with me. Yeah. Because there are times when people just tap out, but you were getting in the ring with me. And I really love that about you. So, sure. we got the house, and once you got the house, what have you done since? I mean, like, what your goal initially was to house hack and pay, have tenants that are paying your mortgage, and like, how did that pan out?
So yeah, my goal was to house hack, live for free essentially, and rent out the rest of the bedrooms. I was able to rent all of my bedrooms out by I think like the second or third month that I was in here. Turned my garage into a gym, obviously, and that's my business.
Still making money out the gym.
Still making money out the gym. I found a way to make money pretty much from every part of my house. Making money out of my gym passively and actively. Making money from my tenants. I'm able to make around like $200, $250 each month just by living here from the passive income. And then once I move out and get another investment property.
So your mortgage, let's make this clear. Your mortgage is paid.
My mortgage,
and you're making an extra.
My mortgage is paid, and I'm making an extra $250 on top of that.
That's residual income.
After expenses, which is beautiful.
Yes.
So, yeah, I was able to rent out the bedroom apartments. I fixed the cabinets. The cabinets were just unfinished, painted them white, stainless steel handles on it, and just finally got some of the furniture. I had passed down furniture, hand-me-down furniture. So, yeah, I did a lot in what felt like a short amount of time was really a good amount of time for me to be patient and get everything done.
Awesome. So I have a few questions that I'm going to ask you to further inspire everybody and give them some gems that you may be able to share with us.
Say less.
So, was the home buying journey easier or harder than you initially expected?
Much harder than I initially expected. I literally thought, they expect a certain amount of money. I give them the money. I find the house. Boom, I got it. That's not how it was. It was a lot harder, more emotional than I thought.
Okay. And what would be one piece of advice? I always ask you this.
Yeah.
What would be one piece of advice that you would give? Like, if you could only give one piece of advice to future home buyers, what would it be?
The advice that I got most that was helpful for me was literally just, like, stay patient. Everything happens for a reason. Like, no matter what, like, real estate is emotional. You got to find a way, especially if you want to be an investor, to not bring emotion into it. So understand to have a clear head and to like not think emotionally and not let that get to you. Like, even though the first house might get declined or the second, the right house is going to be for you 100%. So that was my biggest lesson.
Okay. And there are a lot of aspiring buyers and even agents that might be listening to this podcast or viewing this video.
Yeah.
What would you say is some advice that you can give for both agents and, potential buyers that are going to be working together?
Yeah. I would say just, put your clients first. At the end of the day, like, even though it might be a little extra work for you, that person's going to go way harder. They're going to believe, they're going to bounce off of your energy. Like, the fact that Amina was so good to me, I know what a good realtor is, and, like, I can tell a bad one from a good one. And, like, just being able to, like, give, positive energy to your clients, especially when they're going through something, or just not always putting the money first. You know what I'm saying? Just be a friend to them sometimes when they need it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you say, how could someone seek out a good realtor? Like, what would they be looking for in a realtor?
All right, so the first part is obviously you want a realtor with some experience. Like, that's key. You don't want to find a realtor. I mean, a new realtor, they might be able to get you something, but someone that has more experience, someone that knows the loan program, someone that's going to do the extra steps, that know all the education, that's going to help. But also, besides the experience, like, just have a realtor that is going to take the extra step, not a lazy one. Not someone that's going to, when the first house get declined, be like, okay, this not it. Or when the one lender say they can't, this program not going to work, then end it there. Like, you want a realtor that's going to go just as hard as you would go for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what would you say your favorite part about being a homeowner is?
Well, I got two favorite parts. My favorite part is that I'm able to live for free and make money. But at the end of the day, like, I know that I'm able to set a foundation for myself to build wealth and that I could pass down to my generations to come. So that's my favorite part, just knowing that I got something that's appreciated and something that's earning me money.
Okay, do you have any future plans with real estate or with your current home, or what do you want to do here? Is there, like, what's on the agenda? What's on your mind?
So real estate, I'm really passionate about it. So I am an investor, and I do plan on having multiple.
Wait, say that again?
I am an investor.
This
is what I do, man. I'm an investor now. I might only have one home, but it's more to come. My next one,
that's right.
Right. My next one, I want it to be a multifamily. And with this house, I plan to, like I say, like, have it similar to student housing, but just a house. So I want to have it like it's gonna be like a mix of Airbnb and just having like where in terms of like the vibe, it's gonna have a couch, it's gonna have a table, it's gonna have some furniture, and they're gonna be able to have some amenities like a grill and a nice backyard. But I'm gonna be renting out to students and rent out each individual room.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then I know that you have an Instagram page for your business. I don't know how to pronounce it. Can you tell the viewers about like what you're doing?
I am the content developer for a company called Zelite. It's ran by the CEO, Derek, and you can find both of them on zelite.com or Zelite Instagram. Basically what it is, it's a real estate educational app. And what we have is just study sets. We have educational glossaries. I think it's over 1,000 words. We have real estate related news and calculators. So it's like the all-in-one real estate education app. That's all you're going to ever need. So tap in, man. Download the app. Follow Zelite. Follow Derek.
We're gonna put all the information.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
somewhere. It's gonna be somewhere around here, man.
Wherever you find podcasts, you're gonna find this podcast. Wherever you find videos, you're gonna find this video.
For sure.
Wherever you find information, you're gonna find the information on Zelite.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to get into that? Just kind of to.
Well, I mean, around that time, that's how I met my mentor. I was going through a lot. Amina was there for me, and then like I saw my mentor Derek. He had a podcast on Bigger Pockets, and I saw him like, wow, a black man. That's really kind of where I want to be in life. So I just hit him up on IG. We wound up chopping it up. He gave me some really good advice when I was buying a home, and then from there we kind of continued to stay connected. He started Zelite, and he asked me to be on his team. But it's something I really like, just educating people about real estate investing, since it is such a big wealth builder for our communities.
Awesome. Well, that's a great way to round it out. I had a really great time. There's still some food here, so
right.
I think that you can definitely save it for your tenants, right? Like that.
Yeah, I share love. I'm a real landlord, man.
Our cheesecake is a little bit on the struggle bus, but I am gonna try it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it.
Again, this meal was amazing. If you haven't already checked out Mr. and Mrs. Crab, definitely check it out.
Gotta go.
Check out Zelite. Check out Homes by Amina on Instagram, all platforms. And again, I'll see you on next time on the very. I'll see you next time on Moving Mukbang.
Yep, and if you ever want to connect, follow me at Daunte Benjamin on IG, and follow my fitness page where we are the biggest wellness teachers there is, and that's going to be at Fit Unbound. Check me out.
Daunte, I mean, I had such a great time. I mean, one of the reasons why I decided to do this series is because I feel like we need to commemorate what we went through in that process.
Can't be forgotten.
That story needs to live on, and it needs to inspire future people to go ahead and realize that it might be tough, but it can get done.
Right. It might get discouraging at some points, but it is going to get done, especially if you got a good realtor, good lenders, all of that.
You know, look, just give me all
Homes by Amina, man. Check her out.
Hey,
she that person.
Hey, I'm that girl. I'm that realtor. I'm stuffed though. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm full. Thank you for the free food. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here.
Yeah, no, I've been kicked out of better places.
Hey, you helped me, and she helped me get this, so you know
I
what I'm
kind of
saying?
like this place.
It's straight.
Right.
I'll invite you to my next crib. It'll be a little bit better.
No, I love it. This is a dream right here. This is what we're looking for.
No, this is it, bro. This is it. I still got some renovations to do, too. Oh, my hand's dirty.
Until next time.
Until next time, thank you. Have a good one.